those who didn't make it out to SLAS 2025, here's the live demo that we showed, displaying how Spaero software can integrate with and control the Inheco ODTC thermocycler. We're going to skip through the detailed description of how I set up this protocol. If you want to see that, check out our assay development acceleration video in the link above. We start with a reservoir full of water, a 96 well plate, 96 PCR plate, and a 96 deep well plate here as well. First step is we're going to use our transfer function to move liquid from our reservoir containing water to the 96 PCR well plate to prepare that to go into the thermocycler. We do that by selecting the amount of liquid we want to transfer, all the parameters and any defaults we want to override there, and then finally that we want to move from the source location to the first 4 columns. Now that that's ready, we then command the robot to move things into the on-deck thermocycler and run the program. We do that by selecting the plate, in this case the 96 well PCR plate that we want to go into the thermocycler peripheral. Then we upload the XML file created using the Inheco software. In this case, we've defined a method that moves the temperature up and down 3 times over the course of 260 seconds or so. You can see that displayed here. And if you have created multiple methods inside of an XML, you can check them off here. Because this is the first time I'm going to be running this for today, I'm also going to be using the preheat cycle of the Inheco's ODTC. While that's running, we can also run things in parallel that aren't involved in the thermocycling step. So in this case, I'll demonstrate that by showing how we can move some liquid to the additional 96 deep well plate while the thermocycling is occurring. So here I'll specify that by moving 75 microliters to the first 5 columns as well, and select the aqueous liquid class. And with that, we're ready to advance into the next stage, where we select which robot in our fleet we want to run this on, finalize the deck layout, and run. So I'm going to choose to run it on the San Francisco Hamilton Star that's right behind me in my lab. It could just as easily be a lab on the other side of the country or on the other side of the world. We can send programs to over our system to anything where there is a Spaero control box attached over USB. The robots we support of Hamilton Star, Starlet, and Microlab Prep, that fleet of supported robots will be, of course, expanding over time. Final step here is to validate that our deck layout is the same as when we first constructed the protocol. Happens to be true here, but if, for instance, that deep well plate happened to be moved to a different location, I can easily update that in my software. And just as before, all the guardrails still apply, making sure that I don't configure my deck to a situation that would cause either a collision or other robot issue. So as you can see in this case, it's not letting me put the tip adapter into an invalid location. That is it. We are now ready to run. You'll see our pre-flight checklist come up here. In this case, our tip rack is full. I validated it right before, and we are ready to run. This run's going to take a little bit of time because we first have to preheat the ODTC. So there will be a few moments of silence, and I'll speed through those. We begin by using our 96 head to pick up our 300 microliter tips, move them into the tip adapter. We're going to use offset pipetting now to pick up that first, I believe it was 4 columns worth of liquid from the reservoir and move it into the PCR plate. You'll remember that when we were setting this up, we didn't tell the system that we wanted to use offset pipetting here and the particular details of that. That was all figured out by the compiler. A detailed walkthrough of that is on the accelerating assay development video. So that transfer happened. Now we're going to go and pick up the paddles with our... Actually, we're going to not do that yet. First, we're going to connect to the Inheco ODTC and run the preheat method. So you can see that happening here right now. Preheat method being run. And you can expand the steps here to understand what are the particular stages that are being run on the Inheco over time. This is going to run, I believe, for about 10 minutes. So you may see a skip ahead in the video as I edit out what happens during that intervening time. Okay, we're back. So preheat has now completed, and we are going to begin picking up the paddle grippers, and as we are doing right now, moving the PCR plate into the on-deck thermocycler. So we've done that here. We put the paddles back down, and now you're going to hear the door close. Closing, closing, closing. Now we're in the parallel process step. So we're going to pick up the tips. In this case, we're going to put our old tips away first. Then we're going to grab a new set of tips. In this case, we're using our 1 ml tips. So we're going to first move those over the tip adapter, then do our offset pipetting, aspirate liquid, and then move it into the 96 deep well plate. All right, so that's our parallel processing step. It could have been longer as well, could have been more complex. That really is just down to what you choose to do when you set up your assay and your protocol for development. So now the protocol is executing. That'll take, I believe we said 260 seconds. That's 4 minutes or so. We'll probably 3 more minutes to go until that happens. And then we can look through and see what are the next steps that happen. So this join task, that means we're waiting for that ODTC program to complete. As soon as that happens, we're going to open the door, move the PCR plate back to the deck, discard our paddle grippers, and then begin to wrap up our protocol. One thing I'll point out is you can see our connection to the ODTC in action as small temperature fluctuations occur that are getting picked up. This is showing both the target temperature as we go up and down that thermocycling step, and also showing how, as the target temperature changes, the current temperature tracks with it. It's really an impressive device, how fast it can raise and lower temperature with such a fine degree of accuracy. There, see, we just went from something closer to 50 degrees Celsius back down to 30 degrees Celsius really quickly. All right, so the program has completed. I don't know if it's going to be picked up in the microphone, but I can hear the door opening. So next we're going to go and pick up our paddle grippers. Then we're going to grab the PCR plate that has just been through the thermocycling step and move it back to its original position on the deck. Put it down, put our paddles back in their holding location, and then wrap things up. All right, so this is the end-to-end live demo that we showed at SLAS 2025 of how our Spaero software integrates with the on-deck thermocycler instrument from Inheco. Any details you want on steps I skipped over, please check out some of our other videos, and I'll have some other videos up shortly showing how we do other integrations as well. For now, thanks for taking the time. Have a great day.